With the outbreak of the coronavirus, we're finding new ways that we have to do business to keep the essential real estate services running. This week on Talking Real, we bring you a variety of tools that will help keep your business up and running, keep you in contact with your team and your clients.
Don't let distance get in the way of keeping your business running.
Welcome back to Talking Real, brought to you by the Oklahoma Association of Realtors. You are now tuned into episode 113 of Talking Real with your hosts, Jeff and Nabil. And Nabil, amidst the outbreak of COVID-19 that has us separated by time and space and distance, how are you doing quarantined at home?
Not too bad, all things considered. I do miss being around the work people, the work family.
For sure.
It's definitely an adjustment, but hopefully we have some relief on the horizon soon.
Yeah, that's certainly the hope. These things keep getting extended for those that maybe haven't seen it. The federal government has extended the, emergency, the stay-at-home recommendation from the federal government through the end of April. So certainly looking at another full month of this at a minimum. And of course, we're still looking across the country and here in Oklahoma, cases and things are on the rise. So there's still a recommendation for, really an emergency order from the governor and mayors across the state to stay home and social distance unless you are running essential errands or you're engaging in essential real estate activities. Or essential work activities, which real estate services and leasing services are considered essential. As we talked about on a recent Facebook Live that I got to do, that we did as a team. It was a team effort, but my face was on there, so they threw me out there to do the talking. But if you guys didn't have a chance to watch that, it was about an hour long, and you can find a link to it on our website that we've set up at okrealtors.com/coronavirus. You can go there. You can see a link to that Facebook Live video to go back and watch everything we talked about, all the guidance and everything that came out of that executive order considering real estate services essential. There's also a link to a handy frequently asked questions guide that you can take a look at that boils down a lot of what we talked to into some pretty simple FAQ type questions that you can take a look at as well. So make sure you check that out. We're constantly updating that webpage with additional resources. So head on over there and check out that video if you haven't had a chance to watch it.
For sure. And, that video tells you what you can do, what you can't do, and how you should do the things you can do. So I think it's a great guide and helps you navigate the weird times that we're in right now.
Absolutely. So, a lot of what we have on there are some recommendations, some ideas, some things to think about. And I also want to make sure that for everybody that is listening that's a sales associate, please make sure you're touching base with your broker and seeing how your broker wants to handle certain things, because a lot of the stuff we talked about aren't necessarily requirements or policies or anything like that. They're just recommendations, some ideas. So make sure that you and your office and your team have gotten together and discussed how you're handling some of these issues. So it's a lot going on. So make sure you're, lots of communication that you can keep going and keeping everybody on the same page so that we can all stay well, hopefully get through this as soon as possible, but also doing our best to maintain, current transactions that are pending, those kinds of things, and doing them in a way that is socially distant, but still hopefully not having things coming to too much of a crashing halt.
For sure.
And in that respect, we actually wanted to talk about a few just different ways that you can put some technology to use now that we are all having to work in a different way. I mean, it's business in general across all types of business and all across the world. We're having to find new ways to work and expand how we're using technology to make sure we can, still get work done And so we wanted to bring you a few ideas that a lot of them you've probably already heard of, but giving you some different options on how you can make sure that you're staying in contact with clients in a way that is meaningful, making sure that you, as your real estate teams and offices, you can stay together and continue to have meaningful meetings to keep people on the same page. And so we wanted to give you some tools that we really like that are out there that are available to keep people in business as much as possible.
Yeah, and I mean, some people might already be using these, and some might be looking for some solutions. So hopefully, this gives you an idea of what all is out there. I mean, there's a plethora of tools that are available, but like always, we're gonna kind of go through our favorites and things that we think are more effective than others.
Absolutely. And, probably one of the biggest things that has taken a dramatic rise right now is video conferencing. And people have probably been on a different kind of, I actually was on earlier today that used a platform that I thought was really kind of terrible and annoying to use. And so, and that's important to consider because you want something that's going to be easy to use, that is going to be very user friendly, and it's going to be very approachable for people that may not be super tech savvy, but still be able to get in there and use video conferencing. And, I think this is valuable for offices to have team meetings, for real estate teams, for also working with your clients so that you can have a face to face over the internet as opposed to maybe just jumping on a phone call. Having that visual aspect can definitely be more meaningful in my opinion. And I think is just a great option. And there's free options out there now. You don't necessarily have to spend money. You can upgrade and get some premium upgrades to some of these programs, but a lot of them are going to offer you some free options as well. Mm-hmm. So that's nice right now that you can put some of these tools to work for free. So Nabil, what do you like in video conferencing?
My favorite video conferencing tools, I mean, there are a few, but I think my favorites are BlueJeans and Zoom. And those are ones that, we've used as well. We use BlueJeans for the office, and that's how we do our staff meetings and committee meetings and all that stuff. And it has worked out really well for us.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. We've used BlueJeans, and we've got a premium subscription to that service that we use in our office that has been really great to use for business purposes. And we've been using that for years now. So that's not something new that we've implemented, but now we find ourselves having to use it even more frequently. Mm-hmm. And it's been useful where we can record meetings. We've actually done podcasts on it now in the last few weeks where we were able to pull the audio off of a BlueJeans recording and use that for our podcast. Mm-hmm. So it's got a lot of really good tools that are available. And you mentioned Zoom, and I feel like Zoom is probably the most commonly mentioned name in this market now.
Yeah.
In fact, people are sort of supplementing. It's like becoming a verb. Like, let's Zoom this. It's funny because it's become so popular now with how many people have jumped on and started using Zoom. And it's a great program. I mean, I really like Zoom. It works incredibly well. And again, you can have up to 40-minute video conference meetings for completely free before you have to even look at upgrading. So it does offer some pretty good free service that you can use that can get you through a lot of meetings and discussion. And again, if you're looking at a premium service, you're just individually looking at it. You can do it pretty affordable so that you can then, invite clients and things like that and have an unlimited length meeting if you want to have that premium service as well. So definitely check those out. There are some other options. Is there anything else you think are worth at least considering that people may already have on hand?
Well, I was just going to mention something with Zoom. Like you mentioned, that 40-minute meeting is free. You can always have multiples of those back to back if you really needed to go over that 40 minutes. But one of the great things about Zoom and BlueJeans is you don't actually need an app or you don't need to download anything. They also have web apps, so you can just get through it from your browser, which I think is nice, so that you don't have to, it's not an extra hurdle that people have to cross. And people can also just join by their phone by calling in, which is convenient as well.
That's a very good point, that if you don't necessarily need the video service, or maybe it's not working, or people don't have Wi-Fi or whatever, it does have that option of just having a phone number you can call into and still have that conference call, which is really nice.
Yeah. One of the other ones that I have recently used for a couple meetings has been Google Hangouts. And I remember when Google came out with this a long, long time ago, it was the hottest thing in video conferencing for a while, and then it kind of like died out a little bit. But lately when I used it, it has some fantastic features. And one of my favorite ones was closed captions. You can turn on closed captioning, and Google in real time detects what people are saying and transcribes it for you. So you can even read it if you have to turn your volume off for some reason, or or you're the type of person that likes captioning. It has that, and I think that's super cool.
Another program worth mentioning is Skype. That's kind of an old standby that's been around for a long time. And a lot of people may have a subscription to Office 365. And if I recall, I don't personally use Skype, but with Office 365, if I recall, I think you get some premium features on Skype for Business as well, because I think Microsoft owns Skype now. So definitely check that out too, because that may be a good option as well for video calls.
Yeah, for sure. That's a old standard, right? And a lot of people still use it.
Yep. The next one to talk about is text communications, and particularly for business. I mean, one-on-one conversations are completely fine to have through text messaging, but I really don't like group texts for most business communications, particularly if it's, if you have a decent number of people in a group. It just is incredibly annoying. It just feels disorganized. It's just not a good long-term solution for communication. And there are so many good options that you can use to basically take maybe a real estate team or an entire brokerage and have them kind of consolidated into an actual business messaging platform.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be the first to recommend Slack. It is, in my opinion, the best option. And probably the only one that really comes close to it would be Microsoft Teams, would be another good option. But I love Slack. It's something that we have been using in our office for quite some time. And the nice thing is, if you're a large brokerage, for example, you could have all 200 people in your brokerage on Slack, and then you can have separate private groups for teams within there, or, an admin group, or whatever the case is. You can break that down. You can have one-on-one conversations, and it has tons of integrations so that, if you're paying for the premium service, which is very affordable, you can add in things like, integrating Google Calendar. You can integrate Gmail and Google Drive, and all those are on Google services, but they implement tons and tons of different programs that will give you additional features to integrate all your other business tools in Slack. It also supports calling as well. So you can basically have a voice chat with somebody through Slack as well, which can be very nice. And again, it separates out your text messaging from your business messaging. And again, it's just a fantastic tool that we love in our office and have just really grown to use the heck out of it. And it also limits how much email is going back and forth on those little, very brief one-line emails. We don't use those anymore. Our email is really designed for true important messages, where Slack is our chat system, where we can get small messages without having to call
right.
I could go on and on about how much I love Slack.
I 100% agree with you. I think Slack would be my top choice as well, because of everything that you mentioned. And not to mention that group messaging is also widely inconsistent and unreliable, especially if you're cross-platform. I know I've had some trouble with Android, Apple. I think Apple does a better job of group messaging than just regular messaging for Android too. So group messaging is not my favorite. I would say just a couple of alternatives if people are looking for some. Discord is pretty cool. It does things like Slack does, but I think Slack just does it better in terms of user interface. And then you have obviously Google Chat, which is not as robust as Slack. But I mean, Slack, I would say hands down, go get Slack if you need to communicate with your teams. You can upload files. You can like you were saying, Jeff. It's just made communications and office tasks so much easier.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. Highly recommend it. So go check out Slack. I love it so much. I bought Slack.
and I think one of the best things is that it's on all your devices. So you don't have to worry about, I have to be on my computer to get messages, or I have to be on my iPad to get, whatever it is. It comes everywhere at the same time, so you're never lost, and it's completely in sync.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is a perfect time to adopt that in your office. If you're still using just email or group text messages or text messages in general for business use, highly recommend for your inter-office communication, jump on Slack. You won't regret it. So the next phase that is really becoming kind of an issue right now is we're, having to figure out how to deal with showing houses, right? And if you go back and watch our Facebook Live video and look at our FAQ, I mean, there's some things like open houses that we're just not recommending people do right now. Some municipalities, I think, may just flat out be prohibiting them. And so now is not really a time for open houses. But on top of that, even just individual showing. Have been hearing stories and are aware of instances where, people are trying to limit who is coming into their house for showings and how they're going about doing it, and making people, wear, face masks and gloves and things like that. And it's just becoming increasingly difficult to figure out how to manage the showings. And so, this is a good time to consider how to implement live video, maybe looking at doing a Facebook Live or YouTube live open house. But same things with showings, figuring out how to do video showings, those kinds of things. But now's the time to really start looking at, we've been talking about video for forever and ever. I feel like on here, especially, that it's a medium that people want. People want to, see video content. And now's a fantastic time. So, Naveen, what do you think what's an option you like in terms of video that people can implement basically for free? Because, I mean, at this point, we're really just talking about even free options of what people have to continue to market properties and do I'm like air quoting here, open house without actually having anybody.
Right. I think you mentioned the two top ones, Facebook Live and YouTube. You can go live on both platforms simultaneously. Or you could share your YouTube live on your Facebook, however you want to do that. I think those are fantastic options to market the properties. And I think also on top of that, we're kind of deprived of social interaction right now. So you could even Facebook Live or YouTube Live and just get some interaction face to face where people are commenting and you can see people, I think it's got a multitude of uses, but yes, for your business, marketing properties, I think Facebook Live is probably the best way to do it.
I agree. I think that Facebook Live is going to be your largest platform to get kind of a number of immediate viewers. YouTube Live definitely is an option, both of which will permanently leave a video up there, so it stays good in perpetuity. You can download it and put it over on the other platform if you want to. But you got other options as well. Instagram lets you go live. So certainly looking at doing different platforms, you can do both, right? You can get an Instagram live as well. And one thing that I think you have to look at what are different options as well. Okay. So you may be in a situation where can you actually go into the property and do a tour? Or you may look at something like, what if I had my listings available in a web browser and I did like a screen share video, something like, if you are around children at all, you're aware of Twitch probably, right? Where you can video broadcast a lot of, your screen out there and those kinds of things. And maybe you could go through all your listing on a video like a Twitch video or something, and share your screen and go through all the photos and talk about each property and listing and where it's at, show information, and have a longer video that talks about all these different properties that you've got listed right now. I mean, be thinking outside the box of what other kind of video options you can have to stay engaged with, with your buyers and with other buyers out there as well. So I think that there's some options out there that people should be looking at to, consider how you can implement video. But definitely check out those Facebook Lives, YouTube Live.
Yeah, 100%. I love that idea of kind of just going through your listings and the properties that you have without marketing one particular one. I think that makes for really good interaction. And I think people, like we're talking about, people are craving that face-to-face. So if you're live, chances are right now, more people will watch it than they might have a month ago.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So people are looking for it. So
right.
Definitely take advantage of it.
And a quick plug, if you're planning on using a lot of video, I would suggest get a microphone or at least use a wired mic just so audio quality is good. And I mean, your phone or the camera on your computer is just fine to be able to go live with things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we get done here, because we're already 20 minutes or so into this thing, and so hopefully we gave you a few tools to think about as you're looking at this new way to do business. But we also wanted to highlight something that NAR is doing right now, and they call it Right Tools Right Now. And we'll put a link in the show notes, but you can find it by going to nar.realtor/right-tools-right-now. Or probably just go in there and search for NAR Right Tools Right Now. And they put a bunch of stuff available that is usually a cost to it. They're putting it out for free, that we really want you to go check out, because if you got a little bit of downtime right now, if things have slowed down, this is a perfect time to look at ways that you can be still marketing, filling the pipeline for when life gets back to some sense of normalcy later, but also expanding your skill set and doing some education courses. So, Nabil, what's one or two things that they put on there that you like?
That's tough to narrow down. I think because we're going through all of these, and I think one of the coolest things that they're doing is some of their webinars that are taught by professionals and experts in the field that usually cost $30 each. Right now, they're completely free. So, like the 2020 tech trends, I think that's obviously, Jeff, you and I are super into the topic. So that was really exciting to see. I'm actually going to go watch that after this. And, how to navigate and maximize Facebook, because that's essentially becoming your number one marketing tool right now, being social and virtual. So I think those webinars are really cool.
Absolutely. They've also got some education classes that they're offering for free. For example, they've got the free ePro certification course. I saw that there is some CCIM courses that you can take for free. There's a real estate investing course that you can now take for free. There's a pricing strategies and mastering the CMA course that you can take for free. So a lot of these education courses that usually would cost, that you can get in there and take for free. And I'm assuming some of these will get you some, continuing education credit as well, which is always fantastic to have that. So definitely check that out. They're also, keep in mind there are some other tools that they're putting out there for free and reduced costs. RPR, that's a fantastic resource that's available to everybody. They're also offering 3 months of the Business Pro version of DocuSign for free for 3 months. Now, a lot of people probably already have, digital signature software and stuff through their, through your local association. But if you don't, definitely check that out. That's also something that's available. And then on top of that, they've got lots and lots of content that you could be sharing. They put out all kinds of content resources that you have available that you can share out on social media, that, there's market reports and things like that you can put out there that'll help keep your business marketing to people through social media and email marketing, those kinds of things that you have going on. So check out that nar.realtor right tools right now and get some of this stuff for free. If anything, just go download the stuff for free that you can download, and you got it for when you need it. I mean, take advantage of it, because anything you can get for free,
that's true. Yeah, even if you don't have time right now, you can watch those later because they're all digital. And you were mentioning continuing education tools, and I think I have to throw a plug in there for the C2EX program that NAR launched. You can go and complete your certification for that. Just take the courses. Yeah.
This is the perfect time. Yep, for sure. And that'll also cover your code of ethics training for this cycle. So, I mean, you get kind of a double win out of that. So here's the deal. We're going to keep bringing you content. We've got some guests that we're trying to line up to get on Talking Real in the coming weeks that are going to bring some great information. We're going to try to get our state president, Amy Blado, on Talking Real in the next few weeks. We're looking at getting somebody from our Leadership Oklahoma, Leadership OAR class to be on. That we're going to talk about, and we're going to keep talking about these issues, right? The COVID-19 pandemic is obviously what is on top of mind for everybody. And so we want to bring you kind of realtor specific, real estate specific content that, will help get us through this time. And so we're going to be bringing some guests in to talk about some of those issues, and just continue to bring you these Talking Real episodes every week and try to give you the tools, resources that you need to keep your business rolling during this difficult time. So we hope you guys are still finding the time to tune into us every week and sharing it with somebody else that you think may get a little bit of information that could be valuable out of this episode and any of them in the past.
For sure.
Talking Real. We are also here at the Oklahoma Association of Realtors looking at, all the changing regulatory stuff that's going on, that we're going to continue to bring you other content outside of this podcast. For example, one thing that we're looking at is some of the new changes in unemployment that may be available, how if you're impacted by what's going on, how you might be able to apply for that. So keep a lookout for that. We might do another, Facebook Live video or something to get some explanation out there of how that's going to work. So, if you're wondering how some of these new things, these government subsidies, things like that may play out, we're looking into all that. We're going to try to keep bringing you content on that as well. So don't forget to head on over to okrealtors.com/coronavirus and make sure that you have liked us on Facebook, the Oklahoma Association of Realtors. We're pushing out a lot of content through that, and also through emails that you have coming in. So make sure you're taking a look at those so that you can keep getting all the important details that we're trying to feed out there, so that you can stay on top of things that are going on right now that affect the real estate industry.
For sure. And just like Jeff mentioned, share this podcast with your office, your brokerage, other real estate friends, so they can stay up to date on how our industry is changing with everything that's happening.
Absolutely. And please feel free to email us if you have any questions or comments. You can do that by emailing podcast@okrealtors.com. And until next time, we'll see you next Tuesday on Talking Real.